It's the weekly feed. Kyle Meredith, Vasquez, Delta Spirit. Welcome. It's good to have you here on our fake TRL set.
Yeah, it's
There's
nice.
no fans. There's
you
no
do.
fans.
You're more handsome than Carson Daly.
We've got the same forehead.
You do.
Yeah.
And the same.
It's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, there's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have to call me Carson.
I won't.
It's great to see you. Let's do this for real, because Delta Spirit, you've got this really great record, Into the Wide. You always know how to rock a great hat.
Thank you.
What is it good? I just noticed this too, because you walked in with it and it kind of hit me that every picture I see you in, you're always wearing very nice hats.
I get obsessed with one hat and then I wear it every day until I destroy it. Hopefully I don't destroy this one. This last week at South by, I've been looking for this hat. This is like LBJ.
Oh, really?
Kind of hat. I was, we played the Heartbreaker Banquet out on Willie's Ranch, Luck, Texas, which is near where I live. It's on my side of Austin. Actually, they had a Stetson gifting there for the artists, but none of the artists knew it. So my bass player, my drummer, and I, Brandon, John, and I all walked away with free brand new Stetson hats. And then the Heartless Bastards guys actually found out about it and tried to go get free hats, but they didn't know who the artist rep was, so they were shit out of luck.
Ah, so you walk away with the glory.
Yeah, well,
the spoils.
I actually have her number, so I'm emailing it to them soon.
Well,
shortly.
anyway, you look nice.
Thank you so much.
You look very nice. I don't know, I'm trying to remember back, because we met one time at Lollapalooza when the Great Storm came in. And I can't remember, were you walking around with like a little camera, like documenting the whole thing?
Yeah, I was actually.
Yeah. Do you do that often? Are you?
I didn't do it this tour, but I have a little DSLR camera with a Zeiss lens, and I love to film things and do stuff like that. Just, yeah. I mean, Final Cut is like easy Pro Tools to me, and I actually filmed our latest music video, The Language of the Dead, in front of my garage. I bought green screens and rented costumes.
It's an amazing video. It looks so professional.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, $500. It's $500 professional.
Now, in that video, I have to say, would you consider yourself more a space enthusiast or an absurdist enthusiast?
I mean,
because and for anyone who hasn't seen it, you're kind of in space, but you've also got, you know, Civil War men and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this song is absurd, and so are male fashions like cowboy hats in the 21st century. Doesn't matter.
Don't tell Keith
it's
Urban
just,
that.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just fun, and that was it. And I needed a space monster. I needed an excuse to put my cat in a music video that the band would approve. So that was my one shot.
I know the attention's kind of on that song right now, and I was trying to get a handle on exactly what it's. I mean, you say it almost, but it's kind of got this "Kill Your Idols" theme going.
Yeah.
What's the idea behind it?
I think the idea is 10 years of experience being in a band, and before that writing tons of music, and you write 100 songs before you get to your first good one, and all of that's the imitation game. You know, you're always kind of like leaning on all these other pillars that work, and you figure out what works with your songwriting style and your voice, and then you take all those things and you put them all together, and eventually that should become you.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing, is trying to find yourself in music and not just, four on the floor, clap your way through pop radio, because that stuff's gonna go. Yeah.
Do you listen back to the old songs and go, that's who I was imitating?
Oh yeah, I can pinpoint so many things. They're all kind of weird. Like screaming, I have always screamed kind of like Kurt Cobain and Janis Joplin, and that's just because of growing up like that, where there's like a twang yell thing, and then I mean lyrics. Dylan is such an inspiring person. Neil Young, the only Neil, my only Neil. Yeah.
With regards to Neil Halstead or someone.
Or the one with a D.
Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris. Doesn't do it for me. He is
probably
handsome.
Different. Yeah, he is handsome.
He is.
Do you write all the lyrics yourself?
No, actually, I have I've had a songwriter brother of mine in this band, Kelly Winrich, since we were 18. We've been writing songs together and bouncing ideas off. So he'll come up with an idea and he won't have lyrics yet, and I'll just flat out steal it. He'll come in with his own songs. He'll edit me. Like, we have this push and pull kind of refining relationship.
Yeah. So it's not like a thing where you write the lyrics and then the rest of the band has to speak. You have to speak for them, or they have to get behind you.
Yeah. Well, I just write enough songs till everybody's like, oh, I feel like you're speaking for me in that one. So I wrote like 45 songs, or I did write 45 songs for this last record. And it's also kind of like the vibe and direction, and just they kind of have this buffet for them. And they kind of go, I like that one. I like that one. And we really work them out together. So it's, you know, having that conversation is the most important thing about Delta Spirit. And the art of what Delta Spirit is that conversation with the five of us.
So what do you do with the rest of the songs? What are you going to do with all of these songs?
I recorded a solo record. It turned into a double album, but I think I'm going to turn it back into a single one.
Usually smart. It's usually smart.
What do you do with all these little babies, these songs, these children? Yeah.
So you've got a solo record on
Yeah, I've made it already, and I'm probably going to put it out next year. But it's kind of like this, like, sludgy thing with folk songs in it, and there's like a song that sounds like Alice Cooper, early Alice Cooper. It's just like rock and roll. Like, there's no thrills, there's barely any reverb on it. It's just like a rock and roll thing.
But we're going to be able to differentiate this from Delta Spirit.
Oh yeah. I mean, you won't hear Delta Spirit in this thing, and it's fun. It's fun for me just because I write songs for song's sake. You know, I hear something and I make it, and then if the band likes it, then it's a Delta Spirit song. And they really have, you know, you can really attribute what Delta Spirit is to them, and that energy and that thing live. I mean, and I'm really excited to show the other side of that, because I think people appreciate that, but I hope that people appreciate that what a band Delta Spirit is because of the conversation. I mean, it's so different, and I love those guys. I'm so lucky to get to play with them.
This is kind of like, in a weird, long way, like you always kind of wonder, like, what it's going to be like at your funeral. This is what it's like without the rest of the band,
messed up.
Yeah, this is what it's like without everyone else.
Yeah.
It's just you alone in the woods.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
I've done a few.
I know it's not going to suck. It's going to be great.
I've done a few solo things by myself. I've never been more nervous. But I did have one jam at South by with just my friends, and Kelly Doyle from Robert Ellis, great guitar player, Michael Kincaid from What Made Milwaukee Famous, and then Jeremy Black, he used to play drums in Apollo Sunshine. And so we created the Sludge Jam for one night, and it was so much fun, and I really want to do that for a little bit.
It's not your first time. You also did Middle Brother.
Oh yeah.
Is there any other plans to ever do that? Was that just a one-off, or?
Yeah, it was. It is.
Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe we'll do it on the 10-year. I guess the 5 years this next year
it's coming up,
on the release, but it was 5 years ago that we had already recorded it, so I think we're gonna miss our 5-year.
Oh.
You know, I love John. John just had a baby. I'm about to have a baby. Taylor's killing it, doing great. Both of the other two guys are both working on, you know, Dawson Deer Ticks, so.
When it all works out, it'll work out.
I think what will happen, if it does happen, will be that we have already done it. Nobody knows. If we hate it, you'll never know that we did it.
It's nice.
Because it has to be, has to be a purist thing, because that was like the dumbest, funnest week.
Yeah. I mean, John just puts, it feels like, you know, he's one of those guys who puts something out like
I'm so envious of that. I write so many songs, and he's just got all those fun things
I'll just do this, and I'll do this.
That's kind of why I'm doing mine. It's like, hey, I want to do that too.
Well, you mentioned, so you're back in Austin. You've moved back to Austin. You're going to have a baby. You've got your wife down there.
Yeah.
How was home life? Because it is, I guess, about to change, and you got to figure out, like, you figured out how to be a human being in a rock band like this.
Not a crappy person on the road, not drunk all the time.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. Yeah, you learn how to do it, and I'm not green anymore at this. Yeah. So, you know, I'm not interested. I just want to play good music, and I wouldn't do this if I didn't love it, you know, and my wife really understands that and is super supportive.
Which is great.
Yeah, and when she started dating me, she knew, I mean, we met on the road and she's seen me at my absolute worst. 20 whiskey cokes deep, just falling into Big Lebowski hell.
And still she stays.
And still she stayed. Yeah. I don't know how she did that, but she did. And, you know, I want to be around more. And so, you know, touring, figuring that out, it will be a difficult thing, but we'll figure it out. Yeah. I'm just so happy it's going to be September and not March, April. Because touring now, the springtime, is the best time to tour.
Just to get out there and do it.
Yeah, college is still in session. Yeah. Kids have more money. Kids are kids.
Do you survive
They
off
are
of kids?
Yeah. Like college, when you're a freshman in college.
You're still a kid.
You're still a kid. You don't know how to spend money yet. And you don't have any money yet. Because you haven't got your job yet.
So they're all coming to your show.
And yeah. Yeah, well in the fall it's like it's a little light because they're all still kind of trying to figure out what to do. And also it's getting cold and it's depressing. Nobody wants to do anything. They want to watch Hulu.
Yeah, I say that about NCAA too. It's like just a bunch of kids out there. When you're looking at the basketball and football.
They need to pay those kids.
They do need to pay them.
It's so messed up.
But they are still kids.
Or actually give them an education.
Yeah, it's a lot of worship for a little kid.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that has nothing to do with Into the Wise.
So what?
Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What album is this? This is 5?
4.
I'm 4.
3, 2, 1. It's 4.
It's album 4.
Yeah.
With an album like this, and you're already kind of past it. You're already working on the next stuff.
Yeah, but I think that this is how it always goes for us because we always kind of have a slow start with every record, and then by the second tour, which this is the second tour, everybody's kind of acclimated to what the record sounds like, what the songs are. Right. They've sat in a car driving, listening to the music, and this is always the fun tour because you really get to show that song to someone live who's already listened to it instead of like discovering it at the show. So that is the thrilling part of doing this tour.
Beyond that though, this is probably an impossible question to answer, but like what does this album mean now in the grand scope? Because Delta Spirits, I don't think you're going to go away. You're going to have album 7 and 8 or something. And then what does album 4 become when you're looking back, you know?
Yeah.
Like how important?
I think 4 was an album of pain, growing pains and pain in general. And also just a shifting migration and finally, for me, leaving California, for Kelly leaving California, John trying out New York and moving back to California. But that experience where the 5 of us are out on the East Coast and really experiencing a new city, being involved in a college of musicians that it's not like any other place in the world. And also just people in business and friends, you know, just there's so much energy in New York City. And to do that for 2 years was amazing and I'll never forget it. And my marriage is so much more solid because we did that together, and our band is so much more solid from going through Sandy and going through all those experiences, and you know, that was a powerful time.
And now you've got that
it's
in
a yearbook, and that's every album really is. Yeah. You look at that and you think about that. The last record was Woodstock right before we moved to New York, and all of us recording there and being like, we got to move out this way. And also working with someone like Chris Cody and having the freedom to experiment and just being a band that isn't pigeonholed into rock and roots review, you know, but now we're coming around to being like, okay, you know, now you understand that we can do whatever the hell we want to do. Yeah. Everybody understands that now. Now we can start doing that stuff again without it being like us being on somebody else's bandwagon, because it's always been us and we only follow us, and that's what we want.
You've always had to answer for what the critics are trying to tell you to do.
And it's like, you sound like this, and usually most reviewers, lazy reviewers, they look on your Wikipedia, they listen to like 3 songs maybe for 10 seconds each, and then they say that, you know, Led Zeppelin, Bob Dylan, Neil Young, and Licky Lee all had sex, had a baby, and then their second cousin had sex with that one and then popped that thing out. Yeah. And I give it 8
Ta-da!
or 6. Yeah. Because the number will tell you.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Well, okay, you're more than that, and we know you're more than that. And
Thank you.
You're so good. You're good enough. You're smart enough, and doggone it, people like you.
Thanks.
Matt Vasquez.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. It's the weekly feed. Into the Wide.